Inner Voice, a heartfelt chat with Dr. Foojan.
An acronym. So for you to evoke your story, we're going to go through and talk about your roots, which is the earth part. And it's all about where you came from and really how you grew up, what kind of role you played in your family, and even just like what was around in the world when you came into this earth. You know, what was happening in just global affairs or trends, arts, anything that sort of you connect with when you think back to your childhood. And we go through your values, the importance of them, and the boundaries around them. And
introducing a powerful new update from the Foojan app. Now with flexible subscription plans to fit your journey monthly, quarterly, or yearly. Our new AI-driven onboarding customizes your path to feeling better, faster, and enjoy a refreshed experience with stunning 3D interactive videos. Update now. Empower your inner voice with Foojan. Download today.
Welcome to the Inner Voice, a heartfelt chat podcast. I'm Dr. Foojan Zeine. I'm a psychotherapist, author, and the founder of the International Awareness Integration Institute. So today I will be talking to Rósa Parker. She's an executive and lifestyle coach and a creator of EVOKE Your Story, a storytelling-based framework that helps creative founders and entrepreneurs break free from old narratives and designs a life and brand aligned with their true voice. Through story mapping, art intelligence, and creative strategy, Rósa helps her clients unlock clarity, confidence, and direction in both their work and their personal lives. Splitting her time between New York and Iceland, she brings a global cross-cultural perspective to everything that she does. And her clients include artists, innovators, visionaries that are ready to step boldly into their next chapter and lead with authenticity. Rósa's strategy meets creativity, where storytelling meets neuroscience, and where your next level of self comes alive. We had a great conversation. She talked about how she got to her method and how it worked for her and how it has been working for people that she has shared that method with. And I hope that you enjoy it and gain something from it as much as I did. Now be sure to subscribe to my podcast on my YouTube channel and connect with me through my website, foojanzeine.com, or any of the social media. I love to hear from you. And I go to Foojan app and meet Mira, which is the AI chatbot, which is trained in the awareness and integration theory and can answer your questions safely. And it's not a threat, but it's safely, that you could actually have a 24-hour coach safely at your disposal. So don't forget, either Apple Store or Google Play, go to Foojan and share your thoughts with me. I love to hear from you. So anytime, just send a note to me. And without further ado, here's Rósa Parker.
Listen up if you want to promote your personal growth and self-awareness. I found the Foojan app last month and I have been absolutely loving it. I personally have never learned guided meditation, but thanks to this app, I now have learned incredible tools for my own stress relief and emotional self-awareness. Not to mention, there are self-evaluation tools and professional coaching available to utilize however your journey to self-discovery takes you. Join Foojan today and redefine your life one step at a time.
Intentional Parenting, a practical guide to awareness integration theory, written by Dr. Jafari, Dr. Foojan Zeine, and Dr. Manoukian, 3 experts in human development, is your step-by-step guide to raising a healthy child prepared for a culturally integrated world. You're supported in parenting infants to adolescents using the latest evidence-based scientific research on parenting. Order your copy on Amazon now.
Well, welcome to the show. It's so great to have you, everyone. Rósa Parker here. Welcome.
thank you. Thank you for having me.
Of course. So you are from the other side of the coast in New York.
Yeah, I'm in New York City. I've been here for the last 14 years.
Nice. Where are you from originally?
Iceland. I grew up in Iceland. Yeah, born and raised there. And then I lived on the West Coast as well. I did live in Seattle for a total of like, I don't know, 13 years. I went to school there, University of Washington. And yeah, now I'm on the East Coast.
For many, many years, Iceland kept coming up on the ratio of the happiest people on the world. Did you experience that when you were there?
There are a couple of elements that do enhance well-being, and that is we have a lot of bathing, if you will, like public pools and hot springs, all kinds of like nature baths. But just going to the public pool, just like, not no frills, just public pool. But they have, there's a whole ritual. You shower before and then you swim and you soak in the hot and the cold and the steam rooms. So that, especially in the dark winters, because it's open every day of the year, that really does elevate moods.
That's beautiful. Well, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
How did you sprung upon the concept of the story mapping, the power of story mapping and the story mapping itself? Can you share a little bit with us around what got you to be interested in this?
Yeah, that's a great question. Well, I do believe we all carry some kind of a narrative, a story. And what I learned personally, I was carrying something with me that wasn't necessarily updated or true. And we can be so automatic, sort of like we take something on that comes from childhood, parents, schools, anything that is sort of a more of a limiting beliefs, and we carry that with us. And it just sort of it's very it definitely contributes to feeling stuck later in life when we continue to carry on with that story that is not authentic to us anymore. It's not, doesn't serve us. Something that, let's talk about, for example, rejection is a big thing. And if we have gone through rejection in our lives, we might carry that through our life. So we're blocking so much and a lot of opportunities and just growth potentials. So that's sort of what sparked it. But I've always been in a storytelling industry. I was in the theater and yeah, as an actress, and I started to write plays, and so I was in that world for like 15 years, and then I was sort of a struggling actress, and I was producing some of my own work. I didn't always get what I wanted and didn't always want what I got, so I started to, in a very more of a, yeah, I guess more of an entrepreneurial way to contribute my storytelling. And then when I was getting tired of that, I found myself in marketing. I worked for Nordstrom in Seattle, and their headquarters are there. And I started to knock on doors, and I eventually landed a job as a marketing coordinator in the designer division, couture, and high-end goods. And that is also another form of storytelling, which I did enjoy. And then I moved to New York, and I started to work with advertising agencies and in-house. I was freelancing for a while, and always in that sort of a higher end luxury, especially hospitality came to me very early in New York. And so you can imagine when the pandemic hit that my job evaporated overnight. And then it was another, like a lot of people, time to pivot yet again. And that's when I joined an online community with other marketers and storytellers, copywriters, and sort of started to unfold this idea of like, what if we can tell our own story going forward, not always stop, look back to make sense of things when we've gone to our sort of a detours and not always knowing how to make decisions. So I started to build this format, this framework then in 21, and then for the next 2 years up to like 23, I was testing it and on all kinds of people. And so it's been up and running for now 2 years, both for individuals. I work with individuals and teams, leaderships. So that's kind of in a nutshell how that all came together.
That's beautiful. It seems like it unfolded itself as a story for you. But something that you said was interesting, because a lot of the conversations when we talk about storytelling, it is about our stories in the past and how we rewrite. Part of what I do as a psychotherapist is consistently observe and then have my clients become aware of the line of the story that they've created for themselves. And a lot of it went back, like you said, to the backstories, right? How we made up something for ourselves and then how we kind of narrated it through the whole life as we looked at it. But it was something that you said interesting, was not only about the past, but how do we take the story and create stories for the future and from the present to the future. Obviously, most of the time, a lot of the ways that we kind of throw the storyline from the to the future is something that we take from the past and kind of like continue it. That's like a default position for many of us. We just is a continuation of what it was in the past with a little bit of a shift or a reference. But it seems like in your model, EVOKE, you're having a different way of looking at it. Can you share about the model you've created?
Yeah, absolutely. And you're so right. Awareness is really the key to first to become aware of the stories, where we are, and then what we want. And it's so interesting how much we are like, it's just sort of a brewing underneath at all times, and we're unaware of it. So, like you said, awareness is really one of the first steps. So that being said, what I do with people, if it's individuals, it's more personal. When I'm working with teams, the storytelling is more about the team and the organization we're working with. So, but if we speak to the individual, so what we do, I have a bunch of questions for all these categories. There are 5, and so EVOKE is also an acronym. So for you to evoke your story, we're going to go through and talk about your roots, which is the earth part. And it's all about where you came from and really how you grew up, what kind of role you played in your family, and even just like what was around in the world when you came into this earth. What was happening in just global affairs or trends, arts, anything that sort of you connect with when you think back to your childhood. And we go through your values, the importance of them and the boundaries around them. And that's also where we sometimes carry something from the past, like the values from our caretakers or parents, and then we haven't sort of updated with awareness. So we do that, and we talk about objectives, your goals, and the dreams. And it's very common that our dreams are so far away and so shiny and sparkly, and then our goals are very almost like a to-do list, So help people merge that, because we can really plan and take the actions toward that bigger dream as well.
And how do you
yeah.
mapping into this?
Yeah, so all these questions, these categories, that's about the just seeing where you are now, to bring that awareness in where you are, and even your image or your style, sort of like your taste, how do you show up in this space? Where do you, when you go to work events, if you're an artist, or an actor, traditions, and also just networking events, anything that is, or social media, right? So this is really just to kind of see where we are right now, to bring that awareness into it. Then out of that, we have a little narrative that comes together with how I build it out. So you take your narrative, and now we're going to map your future. And that how I map that is really just like a film. It's a 3-act structure. And we start with your cold opening. That's where you are right now. And we're going to get to we're going to go through the antagonist and everything. And we talk about the big goal and the win, what you're setting in motion. And we talk about how you overcome the antagonist, and all kinds of, those can be rituals, techniques, anything that you can overcome your own sort of sabotaging. We all have something that we repeat, and it doesn't allow us to go forward. So once we bring awareness into that, we see how we've been, It's very common that people start with a lot of energy, they set it in motion, and then it feels like it's almost getting closer, then they find an excuse to stop or just set it aside. It's not prioritized anymore. And there are all kinds of behaviors like that. And so it's really fun to do it though. Take something that is, feels more serious and put it into a storyboard or story mapping. And through all this is the heart thread, really, pun intended, is I use heart coherence techniques. I studied with Heart Math Institute so you can connect the brain with your heart and really, be aware of where you're going and where it's coming from. Is it coming from your, inner like intuition or your inner intelligence? While we're all like balancing the nervous system and toning that vagus nerve.
So you're bringing a lot of the thought process, the emotional process, the perceptual process, and a physical process kind of together in creating how a person is operating in the world and how do they get from here where they are to the big goal that they're saying that they want to have. And having it more from a different perspective of how to get there versus just the to-do list that this week I'm going to do this and then the next week I'm going to do this. Because although the tasks are set, but there is awareness and a little bit of more focus on the way that the person is running their own show.
Absolutely.
As they're moving forward.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like you're a character in your own film in a way.
Mm-hmm.
And so how do you want to direct it and produce it and where you want to take it?
And you can see that, I guess you can also see the different parts of you as different roles that are being played within the same construct, right? The way
yeah, absolutely.
really want this, but another part of you comes in and kind of
Yeah, I mean, and it's really, I have never worked with a client that hasn't been a little bit surprised when they're sort of unpacking where they are and what they're carrying with them. Because we can work with the AI and talk to ourselves all day long, but if there's not somebody there to challenge you, and then when it comes into a little bit later into accountability, we don't get that from AI.
No, AI is supposed to just tell you you're great and let me tell you what I can give you. But whatever it is that you say to me, I'll just say, sure, that's great. So that way of mirroring, it's not necessarily, although, it appears or it pretends to have the compassion, but you're talking also about another level of mirroring, which that mirroring brings some sort of accountability in front of us. And it isn't just, tell me that I'm great and don't worry about it. Because if my results don't show, or if I don't feel that, then just, either the machine or another person just saying, you're great, move on, doesn't necessarily give me all the skills that I actually need. Right?
Yeah, right. Yes. And having a system, having tools, having some kind of a format that have been tried and tested before is just really reassuring. And it's a guidance that takes you through something and you just become more alive as it happens. And you start to see how you've been, sort of not going through. I talk about a through line, just to go through it, It's so easy to take these little detours and avoid certain things that are uncomfortable and so on. But it's when we really elevate our baseline, really, when we go through certain things and we do the stuff that we don't want to do necessarily, that elevates our consciousness as well.
So what does the acronym EVOKE really pertains to?
Earth, values, objectives, knowledge, and essence.
So share about essence.
Yeah, essence is how you show up for yourself and in the world. And even if not, I'm a visual person, but not everyone is, and that's okay. But everyone has a taste or a take, a preference. So it's being mindful about making these decisions when you are putting together yourself, your wardrobe, your space, your business visuals, your social media. It all represents you. So having that awareness gives you an extra confidence and a more authority or like agency in your voice. So you have more awareness of really who you are, how you show up in like three-dimensionally.
When you're looking at the story mapping, it's interesting that you're calling it story mapping. What was the reason to choose this wording around it? What is in the context of this story that you chose to call it story mapping?
Yeah, that's a good question. It is because of how the questions are laid out and how they go, the structure of them, and how they come together into. So, for example, if you have 5 questions, I'm going to ask you 5 questions about your roots, as in the earth category. How it is laid out isn't necessary. It's not like a linear structure. So it's more divergent thinking there. And then you come together and you sum it up in one sentence. So that's sort of how you map that out. And you take that into a narrative, a category, just a short story, a little narrative that is like a paragraph. And how that is mapped out is really about the story mapping, because you're also bringing out and off the page is something that is alive, that is you, and it's your choices and the decision making up to today and how you want to change your decision making, and then we take it into the film, so that becomes like more of a movement in the mapping there. And then there's a third part, and that has a lot to do with accountability and bringing it all to life. And that's where, again, you want to have someone to, with your accountability to show that you show up and take you through it. It's really hard to do something like that on your own. It's possible. We all can do it. Yeah.
No, it's necessary. I also agree with you that it's necessary to have another eyes out there, ears out there, that you talk not only about yourself, but they mirror you, because we can't really see a lot of our blind points, let's say, that
Yeah.
someone in front of you, a coach, a therapist, they see it and they share it with you, and then you get to see. And a lot of times when you are talking out loud and sharing it, and as you say, writing it, it comes to you, because sometimes we are stuck in one lane of our thought process. And at that moment, we don't have access to all of us. And when this is talked to another person, we hear our own voice, we hear another person's perspective, their reaction to us and what we say, or sometimes they reframe what we say. And then the way we write that perspective, it expands it. So it really does expand it, and we get to see another expanded level of ourselves coming back to us, which is so important when you want to create your goals and set up and move forward, instead of coming only from one angle of your life and setting that goal moving forward. You're already expanded before you set the actions and moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's so much certainty in that. You're not just sort of asking forward, not knowing where to go. When you have that framework or system or some kind of somebody you're working with, it really makes all the difference. Especially because I for so long I was just always entrepreneurial, but I didn't have guidance or a mentor until much later in life. And I think it's really important to that we connect and are together to figure this out, especially when AI is playing such a big role in our lives. That yeah, and again, the accountability and the support and the mirroring, having that. And it can be intimate if you're working with one-on-one, and then it's also fun in a group. And then now I'm, offering, I just filmed with my husband, actually, he filmed with me the video course, like we're doing like a master class online. So that way people can do it on their own, in their own time, but there's a part of it that is we put our input or they get feedback. Because I've also bought classes, so many online, that there's no back and forth, and then it just feels like you're just putting everything into the void. You don't know. But I just really wanted to offer a feedback also, with whether that's a voice memo or personalized videos. It makes all the difference for myself when I'm creating something new, to have someone on the other side.
So when you're looking at your own story mapping and your third act, what do you see about yourself?
I had to really have someone to work with to see that, because we do get so not just lost, but we have a lot of blind spots. And what I started to see that, because I went through a rejection in my life, through a father and some family members, and then I'm in the arts as an actress. It was just a lot of closed doors. I'm always, I feel like my life has been an audition, the whole thing. So seeing that there was something that I was always carrying a little bit with me, that I worked really, really hard to remove. I think it's going to take the rest of my life probably to get there all the way, but it's incredible how much we can do with the work of also connecting to our hearts. And that's why I bring in the heart coherence and the heart math techniques that I've learned to really, so we can start to look within. It's very, people are just really looking externally a lot. We're so in this digital age, they're looking at something that looks really good on Instagram. It's like, yeah, I'm going to do that. Or this is inspiring. I could, take a quote and try to live by that. We're all so different. So if we don't do it personally with ourselves, we're not going to have that outcome just by looking externally. So yeah, for me, it was definitely that rejection. So I feel like right now, what I don't need for the first time, maybe a year ago, I saw this start to come through, is validation. And I think that's so huge when I don't need validation from others, because I've created something that I've seen that helps others and has helped me. I think when you get to that place after going through it all, not taking the comfortable little detours, that's when you start to see those kind of benefits that are huge.
Very much, yes. So you're saying you're experiencing as you from your own path, from your own experience, from going through the pain and your resilience moving forward, that you're sharing what worked for you, the questions that you answered to get you here. You're offering it, putting it in a framework of EVOKE, and that's where the experience is showing up and sharing. And also what I'm hearing from you is like there is a part of you that experiences arrival, like I've arrived. I don't need other people to keep telling me if I've arrived or not, that they're based on experience, based on what I sense, based on the evidence of what people are sharing with me. There's a part of me that has arrived, and I want to share that with other people.
Oh, I love that. I love how you framed that. Yeah, that's true. That is true. Yeah. And I believe we all do that. Entrepreneurs, coaches, we use a lot of our own experience. And then we test it, of course, on other people, all kinds of different people to see. But I think it always comes down to closing a certain gap that's been there. You're here, but how can I get to the next level? What's in there and what's in between? It's some kind of a competing desires, limiting beliefs. It's old story that is on a loop and we can't get out of it.
Very much, yeah. No, that's very true. For me, and I think most of the psychotherapists and coaches have gone through that. We also come from a pain inside that we started searching to kind of heal ourselves. And then whatever path that healed us, we brought it and expanded it and worked exactly how I created awareness integration theory is the same conversations of what worked for me, all the traumas that I had to go through and what worked for me, and brought it to how to work it, and then, give it to others, which possibly with the same path kind of like works for them.
Yeah.
It moves forward for them and going. Is there anything we haven't shared that you really, really want people to know, whether it's about yourself, background, path, or something that you've learned through these past couple of years as the model EVOKE has created results for whether it was individuals or team members?
Yeah, thank you for that question. I just want to reiterate, I think that we have the power to create our own story. Life doesn't happen to us. Can happen by us. And we will go through challenges as we expand and elevate, and, whatever religion or spiritual practice you have, that's sort of, we know that we expand and we go through that. But being in the seat of that authorship is very powerful. And I just encourage whether people work with me or not, just to really start to explore what your story is, and where you came, if you know where you came from and where you want to go, to start to fill in like how you want to get there, how you want to travel, really, in your story. And there's so much about that I offer is also about creating these like moments in life. We're also here. We not always have to be looking towards where we want to get to. Just adding that mindfulness of being in the moment it's very valuable, and it just enhances life and its beauty so much more.
Mm-hmm. Where and how can people find you?
Yeah. So on my website, annarosaparker.com, and then also on Instagram, and another website is evokeyourstory.com.
Mm-hmm.
There's a wait list there. You can just put your name in if you want to join the digital course, and connect with us on Instagram, Evoke Your Story.
Beautiful. Well, thank you for taking the time to be with us.
Thank you for taking the time to hang out with me and chat. It was great. So lovely to meet you.
Same here. And everyone, if you like what you hear, if you think that you could definitely use this knowledge and your friends can also use this knowledge and find themselves in what we talked about, please share the podcast, share the YouTube, and let them know that we're here. Anna Rosa Parker's here with her model EVOKE, and give us any other questions that you have, and then I will definitely make sure that Anna Rosa gets those questions. And for all of you who are with us, please go and check out the Foojan app and create an amazing life for yourself and everyone around you. And until next week, bye-bye.
Are you a psychotherapist looking to enhance your practice? The Awareness Integration Therapy developed by Dr. Foojan Zeine is a comprehensive guide to the principle and techniques of this powerful therapeutic approach. Join the growing community who have elevated their practice and expanded their skills by embracing Awareness Integration Therapy and witnessing its life-changing impact. Order your copy on Amazon now.